Afternoon, guys. I'm Dave Canterbury with Self-Reliance Outfitters in the Pathfinder School. I've been wanting to cut down a river birch for a while to see how it carves compared to other birch species to make spoons and utensils and things like that with. And I've got an area out here off of a pipeline that's got lots and lots of river birch on both sides because it's a wetter area, and that's where the river or the black birch grows, is in those areas. So I've chosen one behind me here. It's about 5 inches in diameter at the trunk that I'm going to harvest, and then I'm going to buck it down into some smaller pieces and take them back to the shop with me. I'm going to use two tools to do that today, or two tools to work with today. One of them is the new Jeff White Forrest tool, and this tool is going to be available on our website today. You've seen me use this in countless videos. There's really no sense doing a full review on this knife because I've done so much in other videos and on television with this knife already. You'll see what the capabilities of it are. But it is 17 inches overall. It has a 9.5 inch cutting blade and a 12-inch overall blade with a cutout so that you can choke up on it for finer work. It's 1/8 inch high carbon steel with a convex grind. It's got walnut handles. We're going to ship this knife with a cut-off plastic Ontario machete sheath, and the reason we're doing that is A, to keep the cost of this knife down so that you don't have to purchase a leather or Kydex sheath to get the knife. The knife's going to retail for $99.95. That's with this plastic blade cover. Now, I discovered this plastic blade cover idea a long time ago, cutting it down to fit these longer knives that were 1/8 inch like a machete or a little bit thicker than a machete. And I have put this in the back of my backpack and used this same blade cover for this same blade for almost a year while we've been in research and development on this blade. So there's nothing wrong with this. The reason we're providing this is not to give you a sheath, but to give you a blade protector and a gear protector in case you want to stuff this thing down in your backpack and you don't ever want to buy a sheath. We're going to have a commercially available leather sheath for it as well as Kydex, but right now it's just going to ship with this plastic sleeve just for the safety factor. So the Jeff White Forrest tool is one of the tools I'm going to use today. The other one is the Bob Dustrud folding buck saw, and I'll use it in this video today, and then we'll talk a little bit more about that in another video. Let's get this tree down. So let's stop a minute on the way back to the shop and just discuss real quick this Bob Dustrud folding buck saw. This is the Duluth pack case for this saw. It doesn't come with this case. It comes with a pretty nice heavy Cordura case that's kind of a coyote tan. And this one's got a couple D-rings on it for attaching it to a pack, and I've just put a leather strap through that so I can just sling the thing over my shoulder if I'm going out to harvest some quick wood. But this Duluth case has the advantage of having two pockets in it, one that you can store extra blades in and one that actually stores the saw. So that's an advantage there. Now, I will say before we talk about the saw that any good stable buck saw with the right blade is very, very effective. And you want the dry wood Baco blade, whether you're cutting green wood or dry wood, unless you're just coarse cutting 6-inch logs to buck things down. And you can always carry an extra blade. You want the Baco drywood blade. We carry them on our website. I made sure of that because they're a little bit of an obscure blade. You can get them other places, but not too many. The drywood blade is the one you want. It will do the best for you because it doesn't have the gullets and rakers of a pruning blade. It has more teeth per inch, and it will allow you to do finer cutting work if you're trying to do wood crafting as well as processing firewood. Now, the genius design of the Bob Dustrud saw, and I wouldn't be afraid to promote or carry this thing anywhere, anytime. I've staked my life on this tool. It's a great tool. The handle's made of wood, and it just slides down into the frame, and your blade never comes off of it. The only thing with this is it's got a nut and bolt that hold this blade here, that holds to the frame, and a screw that holds it here. So you got to have a couple tools if you want to change this thing around on the fly. But you could do that very easily with a multi-tool. And this rotates like a cam, this handle does. But it stays on the blade when it's stored. And then you rotate it out. When you pull it out, you rotate the cam over. You pull this frame out, and it's basically aluminum square stock that folds out just like this to an angle. Then all you do is drop that bolt into the slot on the front, pull it up, move the cam out of the way enough to get the blade in to the bottom slot, and then you cam it over and it locks in place. And you've got a very, very sturdy buck saw. And the good thing about this thing is A, it takes almost no time to put it together. It takes almost no time to store it. So unlike a wooden buck saw or something that you might have to take apart or just carry at large, you can take that thing apart and shove it inside the case and go in just a matter of seconds. And it takes that very little room. Because it's made out of aluminum, it's very lightweight. I love this package. So let's have a look at this piece of birch here that we got. Oh, this is great fire tinder, obviously. We would not want to get rid of this. We would want to put this somewhere safe, full of betula. What I'm really looking for is imperfections in the wood and where the knots might be. Part of the reason for getting this bark off of here. Looks pretty good. So what we want to do is we want to split the pith. Now we've got a little bit of a dent here in the wood where the tree was growing. I don't think that's going to be a major factor at all in the grain. But I think what we're going to do is this is our nicer piece here for a bowl. So I think we're going to kind of split it right here and see how it splits. But we want to get rid of the pith altogether, so we're going to split the pith off of it first. This is a nice size spoon blank right here, about 12 inches long. You know, when we shot the video on the 5-tool rule, we talked a little bit about this knife, and that was one of the earlier videos this knife was seen in, this Jeff White Forrest tool. And it's pretty much a straight-handled froe. So it's a very multifunctional item because it's a machete, it's a chopping tool, and it will act as a straight-handled froe for things like splitting wood like we're getting ready to do right now. So if you can only carry, or you're limited to, a certain amount of tools, and you want things that are multifunctional, a tool like this is a very good tool to choose. That is a beautiful piece of wood. A little knot action back here. That automatically becomes handle. Little knot right there. But I think that's going to be a nice pretty piece of wood. There's 2 spoons in there without a doubt in that one blank. So let's take these back to the shop.